Hi friends, today I just finished reading a book written by Sudha Murthy, which is called The Sage with Two Horns. Here is my review. The book is based on mythological stories and anyone from younger to older generation can go through the book. This book is basically a book of life lessons. It teaches us about the path of righteousness. So the path of righteousness is the path of truthfulness, integrity and honesty. A good life needs all of it. It needs a lot of willpower to follow the path of righteousness, as it demands sacrifice and willingness to face challenges. Most of the stories on the book are on the same. There is a story about Nachiketa. So Nachiketa, son of Vajashravas, was disappointed as his father was donating old cows that could not bear cubs. As cow donation was considered auspicious those days, Nachiketa said to his father that he is not following a righteous but sinful path by giving cows that are not fit for donation. Nachiketa asked his father that as he belonged to his father, he can offer Nachiketa for donation. The story shows that how Nachiketa was unafraid of following the path of honesty, righteousness, and integrity, and always a righteous path connects the path of morality. As we know, since ages, there are two ways of leading a life. You can either be moral or immoral. Morality is the divine truth of life. A person is wise when he has moral values. You can have all the money, power, and fame in life, but peace lacks without moral and ethics. It cannot be bought with money, but when we have a percent of it, we see the life the way it is, we experience life, we become compassionate and empathetic, we start loving ourselves and others. The book focuses on implementing positivity in one's life. In this decade, when we see the life of people in social media, we feel their life is far better than us. I read a story in this book where there is a conversation between Krishna and Karna. While Karna was upset that he was left abandoned right after birth, Krishna's life was no different. He was born in jail and death was awaiting him. When Krishna said the same to Karna, Karna said that he is a very normal human being, unlike God Krishna. But Krishna pointed out the positive sides of Karna, how Karna acquired great skills to become one of the greatest warriors, and how lucky he is to be the student of Parshuram. The story shows how positivity should be implemented in life. I read somewhere that we fail to look at the positive sides of life because we keep on staring at the closed doors of life when other door of hope is already open. Life becomes the way we look at it. I have also found that many stories of the book indicate that how faith and belief are important and why it is important. So basically, what is faith and belief? Basically, faith or belief both are same. They are the conviction of our intellect. In this book, I read about Dhruva. Dhruva, the young child of King Uttanapada, is one of the greatest devotees of Lord Krishna. When he lacks affection of his father, he went straight to his mother. His mother did not say anything but mentioned that only Krishna can change the mind of his father. It was enough for Dhruv to be convinced that he must pray to Krishna to gain affection of his father. At such young age, he abandoned the palace and went to a jungle to pray and penance for Lord Krishna. However, when he saw Lord Krishna, he did not ask anything but to be with him. Krishna was so pleased that he named a star after his name. Dhruv star or pole star, which we observe in sky at night, still shows us the right direction when we are lost. We do not need a compass if we can point the star in the sky. In depth, the direction of Dhruv is the direction towards divinity. Here, the belief and faith that Dhruv gained at such young age is commendable. He grasped, worked, and achieved his own belief. The book also narrates stories on values of words and promises. Nowadays, for every now and then, we promise in relationship. We promise, but how long we keep it? Can we follow it for life? These are the questions we must ask while we promise something to someone. Because promises are meant to be kept. A broken promise can hurt the other person because it is also associated with trust and trust with truth. Here I read a story about a king and a pigeon. King Shibi was a dutiful king and he excelled as a king in all his fields. So God Indra and Agni decided to test him. They arrived as eagle and pigeon. the pigeon asked Shivi to save it from the eagle. When the eagle arrived, Shivi had to give a portion of his flesh of his right thigh, which is equal to the weight of the pigeon. And the story did not end there. As King Shivi gave a portion of his flesh, the scale remained unbalanced as the pigeon weight was more than the flesh. Lastly, the king had to sit on the balance pen to meet the weight of the pigeon. Shivi promised the pigeon that he will save it, and he saved it. The story touched my heart. Nowadays, when there are very little value of words of acquaintances in our daily life, a king was ready to give his life for a bird. That is the courage he gained while following a life of truthfulness and honesty. All these mythological stories also demands respecting the time and how all we are slaves of our time. From Gita to many scripture, all mention that time is powerful and time changes from nature to human. No one can escape time. Here we will not discuss the story of the book, but let's discuss on Gupta Empire as it can be an extraordinary example to understand the same. Gupta Empire was known as the Golden Age in Indian history due to its excellent art and sculpture. But did the Gupta kings who ruled for centuries ever imagine that it will be ruined and destroyed one day? Now in 21st century, the sculptures are showpieces. This is the power of time. Golden period comes in everyone's life, but it perishes. So time is everything and everything is time. Besides that, the stories also indicates on how duties and responsibilities needs to be followed and performed. How we should never forget our duties and responsibilities even on toughest situation. One of the story in the book narrates about a king who is ready to give his last meal to a dog as the dog was hungry. Drought in his kingdom destroyed all crops, and when there was a scarcity of food, he gave up his plate to a dog to meet his hunger. Because when he acquired the throne, he promised to follow his duties and responsibilities of saving his kingdom and people. He did the same till his last breath and lastly surrendered to Supreme. The book also throws light on how materialistic things are of no importance, and when one of the powerful king realized the same, he renounced his kingdom. He followed the path of divinity. So in wholesome, the book is an excellent read and definitely throws light on lessons of life. Let me know your point of view on the same. Thank you.